I want to thank everybody for their patience as we get started today. I saw some familiar names up here. We've got Scott, we've got some folks from Partnering for Peace that are joining us today. Kim Dixon has joined us as well, who is the president. We'll get to meet her here in just a minute. So as we get started, I want to introduce myself. My name is Jessica Vandevort de Montiel. I am a recruiter for the Peace Corps based out of Kansas City, Missouri. I cover Western Missouri, Kansas, and Nebraska. Sorry, folks. We want to welcome you to today's event from Rotary to Peace Corps for Rotarians, Rotaractors, or Friends of Rotary to learn more about continuing your legacy through service abroad with us in the Peace Corps. We have a couple of other folks on the call today who are also part of the Peace Corps recruitment team that you will meet shortly. So Peace Corps and Rotary International have a special partnership made official in 2015, rooted in our mutual values of service, peace, and friendship. A special thanks to Partnering for Peace, a group of returned Peace Corps volunteers who are also Rotarians who have worked so hard to make the very first Rotary Peace Corps Week happen, especially Andy Lennox and Steve Werner, this week's co-chairs. At this time, I'd like to introduce Kim Dixon, who is the current president of Partnering for Peace, who will share with us a brief overview of the organization and this week's events.
Thank you, Jessica, and thank you all the attendees. We've had just an amazing response thus far for our Rotary Peace Corps Week. And again, thanks to Steve Werner and Andy Lennox for sharing this. And thought this such a great start. This is a grassroots effort, and the grassroots response has been just tremendous. We're speaking all over the world. We've got Rotary clubs and country directors and country staff connecting with one another. I just spoke this afternoon to a group from Grand Junction, Colorado, and they were so excited about the partnership. But also, Angela, they really wanted to know about being Peace Corps volunteers and if you accept older volunteers. And I said, yeah, they took me, so I guess I'll take anybody. So really positive. Everyone on the board and members, we have about 130 members of Partnering for Peace now. The goal of Partnering for Peace is simply to advocate for awareness, education, and outreach. That's all we're doing. We're a 501c4. We don't collect money. You can become a member. It's free. Please become a member so you can find out what other groups and Rotary clubs are doing around the world. And please, we need one person from every Rotary club and one person from every RPCB group to sign up to be a member. We promise we won't flood you with things, but just for awareness and education. We've got support for the evacuated PCB projects, Rotary projects in countries that are reaching out to our PCVs to say, hey, do you know what's going on in Ghana? Does this really make sense or not? Peace Corps volunteers and return Peace Corps volunteers have the credibility, and the Rotary members have an amazing engine for process, organization, for needs assessment, and for following through on projects all around the world. I'm humbled in both camps to watch the effectiveness and the synergy between within each as well as between the two. Right now we have about over $1 million worth of joint projects that we have just identified and documented. And I swear we're just scratching the surface. I know in my country that I served in Georgia, the things that we did with Rotary that we never documented. It was mostly people to people relationships. But anyways, I'm sorry, Jessica. I'll stop now, but thank you all for being here. Thank you for supporting Partnering for Peace, Partnership, Rotary, RPCVs, and also we can't forget National Peace Corps Association, which will begin tomorrow officially in their PC Connect. So check them out as well. Thank you.
Kim, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing that information as well. As returned Peace Corps volunteers, we can really get excited about sharing our experiences in service, so we understand. Today for the event, we are going to hear a little bit about who we are as Peace Corps and some benefits of Peace Corps service. We will then hear from our three panelists. Next slide, please. Our three panelists are Cal Mann, Amanda Silva, and Dr. Vanna Pruitt. And we will wrap up with a discussion and questions and answers. If you have specific questions, please put them in the question and answer box at the bottom of your screen so we can address those one by one. So I'm going to go ahead and transition over to Abby Knickerbocker, who's going to share a little bit with you about who we are as Peace Corps.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you, Kim, for being here, and to our friends at Partnering for Peace. My name is Abby Knickerbocker. I'm a recruiter based in Albany, New York. Prior to serving with Peace Corps, I was a Rotary Youth Exchange student, and that's where the idea of service above self really became a way of life for me. I went on to serve as a Fulbright grantee to Peru and later served as a Peace Corps volunteer in the Dominican Republic before landing in my home state of New York as a recruiter. I want to take a moment to introduce everyone to who we are. I know that oftentimes Peace Corps is a household name, but I want to take a moment to really appreciate who we are as an organization, as this goes hand in hand with really how our friends at Rotary tend to identify as well. We are a group of like-minded people with the goal of serving the global community. We are the host countries that request volunteers. We are the staff at Post who provide expert guidance on the culture, language, and communities. We are the volunteer who commits to serving 8 months, 27 months, and some of us even extend for an extra year or two. We are the returned Peace Corps volunteers who may have served in the 1960s, 70s, and some of us may have recently come home a little earlier than expected in 2020. We are the host communities that provide knowledge, leadership, and connections, and in my case in the DR, infinite cups of coffee to get you through the day. We are inspired by the opportunities that come from mutual respect and collaboration, and we share a passion for grassroots engagement and community building. And I hope that this resonates with our friends who are joining us from Rotary today. I want to take a moment to bring you further into this Peace Corps network. The Peace Corps was founded in 1961 by President John F. Kennedy. We have 3 goals that have guided our work ever since we were created, and we're really proud to have this as part of our mission. Part of the goals that we have is to help people of interested countries in meeting their need for trained men and women. But I want to reiterate the importance of the communities and the partners that we work with side by side, because without their support, our work would not look the same. They are integral in the process of getting things going. We're also here to help promote a better understanding of Americans on the part of the people served. This is really important. We know that the US has a rich fabric of different cultures and ethnicities and identities, and we want our volunteers to be able to represent that with the host countries that we partner with. We want to help promote a better understanding of other peoples on the part of Americans. So Believe it or not, those volunteers who finish out their service, we actually ask them to keep going. Is there a classroom or a community organization where you can share your experience, or you can talk about what it's like, in my case, to live in the rural Dominican Republic? So many of you may know that Peace Corps and Rotary joined through an official memorandum of understanding in 2015. And in the next couple of slides, we're going to talk a little bit more about that shared DNA that brings both organizations together. So first of all, you'll notice here this 42%. This is the number of volunteers that serve as education volunteers. This is the request coming from the country partners that we have. It's a huge number of volunteers that work to teach math, science, English, primary literacy, as well as special education and deaf education. We know that our partners at Rotary are also working to promote education as it's a core foundation for development. Nearly 20% of our volunteers work in public health. We have a strong focus on things like child maternal health, water sanitation and hygiene projects, as well as programs that work to educate around HIV and AIDS, as well as the prevention of mosquito-borne illnesses. I know there are a lot of clubs out there where this should be ringing some bells, as many start to focus on things like child maternal health, prevention of disease, as well as water sanitation and hygiene. And we also serve as youth and development volunteers. Core focus area here is thinking about how we can help young people make those life decisions, how they can set goals. And although it isn't a primary focus for Rotary International, we know how much work goes into things like youth exchange, as well as the Youth Leadership Awards. So we see